I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on the cervical spine, specifically C1, but also lower cervical spine and upper thoracic spine. These are out of alignment for me, and I'd be interested to know more regarding the physical, emotional, spiritual aspects of these areas of the spine. I have no previous spinal injury, but carry deep traumas that I'm currently working through. So, first thing I would say, and I know I say this a lot, when you do a fast, you're going to radically reduce inflammation. But what happens is your body becomes very open to change. Okay. And now I worked with a chiropractor that had chiropractic clinics all over Bali and probably places around the world. And she would say, and I had other chiropractors come in say the same thing, that when people were fasting and she did spinal adjustments, people would have issues that would move like super quickly. So like somebody with a scoliosis, while they're on my 21-day fasting program, within 10 days, the spine's actually correcting itself. And she would say normally this would be like 6 months of 3 times a week and hardly get any movement. And we're seeing more movement in like 10 days of a fasting program. So maybe going to an osteopath or a chiropractor and fasting and having this work done. But then we need to realize that it's out of place because of our lifestyle choices, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and also physically. So at least 3 times a week, I'm on with a group of people going through an advanced process called the ancient Egyptian physical culture. The ancient Egyptian physical culture is a series of movements that moves the lymphatic waste products out of my ankles and my knees and my hips and my each one of the vertebrae of my spine and my wrists and my elbows and my shoulders, and I'm opening and clearing out and cleaning, essentially cleaning house. And in the process, we're playing music and we're dancing, we're playing, we're having fun, but there's a specific routine that is strengthening my body and it's making me more flexible. And in the process of strengthening, we got these 2 big muscles. Imagine your vertebrae of your spine running down the center of these 2 big muscles, okay? When I'm doing these simple exercises that increase the strength of the muscles around my spine, that's what holds the spine in place. So if you're not doing some form of yoga or Pilates or sport or simple walking and hiking and movement, these muscles start to get weak, the spine starts to go out of place. So it's a major factor. So we need to make sure that physically we're doing all the right things. Then we can look at the energetics, okay? So the 7 vertebrae of the spine, you said C1 specifically. C1 specifically, I believe, and I can look in this book that has some really clear information on it as well. C1, I believe, is related to the prefrontal cortex. Okay, so if you're the type person that's just like think, coffee, up, thinking, go, it's like the spinal column, 33 vertebrae, are the switchboards of the electrical energy that's flowing through the body. So if I'm overwhelmingly using some part of the body, too much energy, okay, we want the right balance. Okay, you don't want low energy and you don't want high energy. You want balanced energy. It's the whole yin and yang, hot and cold, positive and negative. So if I'm like too much here, I'm going to constantly be flicking off C1 and probably C2 and develop a level of things that are going on there. Toxicity can be a factor, mental issues, like I was just talking about. C1 here says feelings of fear, confusion, fight or flight. That's what I'm talking about. Fight or flight and not knowing how to get out. Okay, every time you go for a drive, you're pissed off and fighting everybody and cutting through traffic and whatever, or people are just pissing you off. Okay, you go to work, you're just constantly wake up in the morning, all day, every day. So getting out of the sympathetic nervous system and into the parasympathetic nervous system, there's some simple things you can do to be more relaxed. So we're either in fight or flight or we're in like rest and digest. When we're resting, our body's digesting our food and we're healing. when I'm in the parasympathetic. When I'm in the sympathetic, like coffee and Red Bull and cocaine or just stressed out, that's when it's adrenaline and things are taken away from the digestive function, healing function. Okay, one way we can get rid of that is simple breathing. Take an in-breath, stop, and then in-breath again. Then relax it out. In-breath, stop, in-breath again. Relax it out. And if you do this with me, do that for about a minute, and you'll be going into the sympathetic nervous system, relaxation, the body starts to heal. Okay, I like to effectuate my vagus nerve. I do it all the time. It's just a natural thing that I do, and it's just kind of like toning. It's like this. Like an A, but just an internal. So when I'm in the car, I put on music, and I'm humming behind the music. I just put on the music so nobody can hear me in the car. And I'm just so that the whole drive, I'm just calming my nervous system. Because for the first 30 years of life, 20 years of driving, it was intense. Okay, so fight or flight, wanting to run away from your problems or responsibilities, feeling insecure, not good enough, too focused on other people's opinions. So really looking at some of these things, the neck also in general, I believe, is my ability to see. So every day as well in the physical culture, I'm doing advanced neck mobility exercises. So I'm stretching all the way down, I'm stretching all the way up, I'm stretching all the way to the right and looking back as far as I can, all the way to the left, looking back as far as I can, acting like I've got a little string attached here, going up and stretching this way as far as I can. Same thing on this side as far as I can. So I always have a really good neck flexibility and mobility. I can literally whip my neck around really fast. There's no knots, there's no hard spots. And so it's like at least 3 times a week I'm going through that series. And I'd recommend you guys join me. We do it on Australian mornings as well. We do it 5 days a week, but I'm actually there doing it live with everybody 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Australian time frames. So that's a little bit about C1. And like I said, with the neck, it's ability to see the perspective. So if I have pain on my left side of my neck, I have an inability to see the feminine perspective. Okay, so a woman says something to me, I just can't see her perspective. We have an argument. It's like now I got pain in my left neck. Totally legit. And it might be underlying stuff where it just slowly builds over time, so you have no idea. Right side, right of the neck, inability to see my father's perspective, my business partner's perspective, another man's perspective, my own perspective. Okay? So these are also issues, inability to see from that perspective. And then there's specifics with each one of the vertebrae. Now the middle spine is more so about, you're asking about thoracic, is more so about not feeling emotionally supported or being stuck in all the shit back there. All the stuff that's on my back from 10 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago, yesterday, stuck in this shit back there. It's like I'm carrying the weight of the world on my back. Okay, and a lot of times what we shoulder, if you're shouldering too much responsibility, masculine or feminine, then we'll have shoulder issues and pain and dislocations and things that are going on. And trust me, I've had my fair share of dislocations and problems and breaking things over the years from downhill mountain biking and doing martial arts and every other kind of awesome extreme sport over time. And every time I had an injury, it was exactly related to some type of other emotional stuff that was going on in my life at the time. Legit. So, there's all these specific details of each one, and my coaches have access to all this information, so they can give you the specific and actually help you with the remedy of what to go through to clear the emotional stuff. Lower back, by the way, is typically around fear of not being able to provide financially or constant worry of finance. And this is why a lot of men have lower back problems. They're always thinking about money, always worried about money, always worried about the job. Am I going to be able to pay for the house? Am I going to be able to, my wife spending too much on the purse? What if I can't afford this? Yeah. And so it's all mental, neck, and worry. Financial is like lower back.